I'm Steve Potter along with Loren Watt. It's primary election 2013 in the city of St. Louis, and it's interesting to see what people say earlier in the day.
It is. And it's interesting to see what people say late in the night, which is where we are now.
Let me reintroduce our guests. To my right is David Hunn. He's a reporter with the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Also, Alfreda Brown is here from the League of Women Voters to Loren's left, and David Kimball from the political science professor at the University of Missouri, St. Louis. And I wanted to ask you, you were sharing numbers with us, and so where are these coming from?
So this is from the St. Louis Board of Elections.
They have a website.
Right, and they update it as often as they can throughout the night. They actually said that 10 o'clock they hoped to get final results, and they're pretty close. This isn't bad. We've been up sometimes till midnight waiting for results. So this is pretty good in my book. So yeah, we have 80% in, 81.8%.
Why don't you refresh our memory with the numbers?
Right, so Francis Slay leads Lewis Reed 56% to 42%. We have a couple interesting aldermanic races. For the most part, the incumbents won. The one difference is that Sharon Tyus is beating Charles Troop in the first ward, 47% to 34%.
That's going to be an upset.
It is an upset, yeah.
Is that the only one? The only one that raises an eyebrow, David?
I think the other one would be the 6th ward, where it looks like Christine Ingracia is winning that race over Damon Jones, was her prime opponent there.
Mm-hmm. Did Casey Starr Triplett endorse either one of those candidates, do you know?
We were talking about that.
I think she was an Ingracia supporter, and I think Ingracia, if I remember correctly, was a Triplett staffer.
Okay.
And the interesting part there is that Damon Jones is the son of Mike Jones in the county, and Robin Wright Jones, former senator.
Mm-hmm.
So both had some, class coming in, and I bet you that was a tough race. It was a 3-person race, which always makes it more difficult, because that third person throws in a wrench, and clearly did here. Michelle Whithouse got 23% of the vote, Damon got 26%, and Christine got 50%. So
if it had been a 2-people race, it would have been
different
very
story.
close.
Might have been different, yeah.
Yeah, could have been.
Well, so with 80% of the with 80% of the vote in, and it's 56-42 Slay, right?
56.1 to 42.5.
Right. Is it obvious what's happening?
Well, David and I were just talking about it.
I think it's pretty tough for Lewis Reed. There's probably another 8,000 or 9,000 votes out there to be counted. Currently, Mayor Slay has a 5,000 vote lead, so 8,000 or 9,000 remaining. Reed's got to make up a 5,000 vote difference. I think that's unlikely to happen.
So unlikely, but possible.
Possible, but unlikely. Yeah.
It is, but imagine, so far we're, Francis is leading Lewis 56 to 42%. Lewis would have to beat Francis 66%. 2/3. He'd have to take 2/3 of those votes in order to come back.
Yeah, like 7,000 to 2,000 of the remaining 9,000.
Right, or more, right? More than that. I'm sorry. Yeah. Right.
Is Matthew, the fact that he's in the race, is that
That's a good question. It has not been a factor.
He's got about 1%. Yeah.
He's got 500 votes?
Yeah, 1%.
Oh, that's good.
Actually, let's address that quickly, because he was interesting. I know I covered these guys at the Board of Aldermen for quite a while. Jimmy started coming into the board meetings a long time ago, and he probably told me, I'm not on anybody's side here, but Jimmy told me a year and a half ago he was going to run for mayor. He said he was going to run for alderman and mayor both. And so I don't, there were accusations that he might have been a stalking horse. It's possible, but it would have been a really well-planned stalking horse.
Yeah, and how can you prove it? Who's going to admit it?
No.
Right. Let's check in. I think we have a report from the Slay Watch Party. Let's go there.
I'm here with Jeffrey Boyd, Alderman of the 22nd Ward. Alderman, thank you for joining us. What do you think the key factors are in tonight's race?
Well, the key factors in tonight's race, first of all, is voter turnout. Who can get their base out to vote? Unfortunately, today was a very cold and dreary day, and I think that plays a factor in the low voter turnout, at least in the ward that I represent. But at the end of the day, if the candidate has enthusiasm and they really reached out to the people, they're going to come out in rain, sleet, or snow.
In the African American community, do you think that Mayor Slay isolated or alienated any one group in particular?
Well, I think there's certain groups, certain activist groups that are upset with the mayor. And they're very vocal and they're getting their message out. Now, I don't believe everything that they're saying. I think certainly some people have a right to feel disenfranchised, but at the end of the day, I think the mayor has done a pretty good job for the city. And I can say from a personal note that the mayor has been a friend to the 22nd Ward. I've had a very good working relationship with the mayor for the past 10 years, and I'm supporting the mayor because he supported us. I can look to the $34 million Arlington Grove project that people said would never be done in my neighborhood, and I appreciate that, and we appreciate that.
Does Mayor Slay deserve a fourth term in office?
I think the mayor deserves, a fourth term in office, but I also think that some people think that 12 years is a long time for anybody to be mayor, and they may be fatigued at this point. That doesn't mean that the mayor is not doing a good job. It just means that people are ready for a different flavor.
Politically, for you, do you see this as part of your future somewhere along the line?
Being mayor, if the opportunity presents itself, I think I'll seize the opportunity.
Thank you, Jeffrey Boyd, for joining us today. I'll let you get back to the party.
Thank you.
That's Jeffrey Boyd, 22nd Ward Alderman. Back to you guys in the studio.
Well, the parties are going.
Getting ready to get started. The finals are almost in. We're 80% there, guys. So it's pretty close, and you say it would be statistically pretty difficult for Reed to come back from where he is now with 5,000 votes difference.
So the question, what has to happen first? Does Reed have to acquiesce? Who makes the statement first?
Usually the loser concedes first.
And that can be.
But they may want to wait and see for the final returns to come in before they.
Well, he's got nothing to gain by conceding early, I guess. Right.
And it's been at moments, a pretty bitter race. So I mean, he's not going to be nice just to be nice, that's for sure.
Well, one thing I will say about Reed, he made a statement on one of the networks they were interviewing on, and he said something to the fact that I'm paraphrasing that, win or lose, he's willing to work with Francis Slay because they're both on E&A. We have a weak mayoral system here. The mayor doesn't really run a lot. He runs his office, a cabinet, some directors and different things, but the treasurer, the comptroller, the Board of Alderman president, the license collector, collector of revenue, he doesn't run those offices. So they both sit on the board of E&A, and that's really who controls the purse strings and the way the city goes. So they're going to be in the same place they were. They have to work together.
So are we describing this as a high turnout? Have we made that point? Is this an average turnout, a high turnout? How would you rank it?
It's certainly quite a bit higher than 4 years ago.
4 years ago, all they had was 32,000 people voted, and Slay got 19,000 of them. Smith had about 10,000.
This is going to be 44.
Upper four, mid 40s thousand.
Yeah.
So,
or more, right? Yeah, more,
Which-
45, even higher.
so
there's
this
going to
is
be a lot
quite a
of
bit
people.
more than 4 years ago.
So will we see an increased voting in the certain wards? Do you think that was because of the mayoral race or because of the contested wards, particularly on the north side?
I think there was a bit higher turnout in some of those contested wards with the Board of Aldermen races.
I would have thought that.
But I think the mayoral campaign this time around mobilized more voters than the previous two campaigns.
Right. Hey, Loren, I want to get back to one thing you said for a second. I think that's a great point. The president sits on the Board of Estimate and Apportionment, and he really came to life when he declared his candidacy. Again, I got no dog in this fight, but Lewis really became vocal and really active and argumentative at times on that board when he declared. And clearly he was trying to exert himself and become kind of an independent candidate. But that could be great for the city. I mean, it's good for the city when those guys hash out their differences there at the board. And so even if he ends up losing, as it looks like he will, it still could be a really positive thing for city government.
Definitely. I think the spin it should be positive, and I think if everybody's working toward the same goal, which is to better the city, to improve educational system here, which has been limping along for a while, get the employment going, get the crime rate down. St. Louis is a great place to live. I like telling people I'm from St. Louis. When I lived in California, I would tell people I'm from St. Louis. The people get away from you. They know we're serious here. You know, St. Louis has had a reputation for being a violent city since the 50s, and it's not nothing that's new. Am I right?
Well, I wouldn't mess with Loren personally, but
yes,
anyway.
don't mess with me personally, especially this late at night.
I think Janelle might have some numbers for us. Janelle,
Please,
do you?
Janelle.
Please?
Yeah, guys, I sure do have some numbers for you. Again, this is with 81% of the precincts reporting, and I do want to point out it's 19% of registered voters that voted with this 81% of precincts reporting. So that gives you an idea of the turnout today. Now, in the mayor race, Francis Slay is in the lead with 56% of the votes. Jimmy Matthews has 1% of the votes, and Lewis Reed has 43% of the votes. Moving on to Ward 1, Sharon Tyus is still in the lead, holding strong at 48%. The incumbent, Charles Quincy Troop, has 34% of the vote, and Yolanda Brown has 18% of the vote. In Ward 3, Maxine Johnson has 11% of the vote. Freeman Bosley, who's the incumbent there, has 54% of the vote, so it looks like he's probably going to take the cake there. Jeffrey Hardin has 18% of the vote, along with Anthony Bell, also with 18% of the vote. Now for Ward 5, this is a close one. Michelle Hutchings Medina still sitting at 45% of the vote, and Tamika Hubbard has 55% of the vote there. Now in Ward 15, Jennifer Florida, who's the incumbent, has 62% of the vote, and Lisa Miller has 38% of the vote there. And in Ward 21, Antonio French has 80% of the vote, and Carrie Wilson has 20% of the vote, so it looks like that race is pretty much over as well. And in Ward 27, Chris Carter is holding strong as he has all night long with 74% of the vote there in Ward 27, and Pamela Boyd has 26% of the vote there. And in our special election for Ward 6, Christina Ingracia, it looks like she's won this one with 51% of the vote. Damon Jones has 26% of the vote, and Michelle Whithouse has 23% of the vote. So again, I just want to say again, you know, it's 81% of precincts reporting. So it's not official, but I think it's pretty safe to say, as our analysts have said, that it looks like Slay probably will win this election unless if, you know, a miracle happens. So that's the latest, and I'll toss it back to you guys for now.
Okay, it looks like the picture is becoming more clear.
More clear.
Pretty clear right now. If Lewis Reed loses this, which it looks like he's going to, according to the numbers, what's his role in the future? Do you see him working with Mayor Slay? Is there something that good can come out of this for both of them?
Don't everybody
I think
jump in
that
there.
depends on both of them. I mean, it depends on what Lewis Reed wants to do going forward. It depends how much of a grudge Mayor Slay holds, if he wants to back someone to challenge Lewis Reed when he's up for re-election as president of the board in a couple of years. I don't have the answers to those questions.
Well, it also depends on what other aldermen think of Lewis Reed at this point. So if other people perceive him to be stronger or weaker based on this election,
right,
you may see some aldermen stepping up. I mean, there's a whole bunch of really smart, you know, interesting leaders, young leaders coming up right now, who I think are going to be people. Tashara Jones is certainly one of them. Antonio French is another. We're going to start seeing people challenging for some of these leadership roles, and I don't know who exactly, but right, there's some. So they, you know, those same folks may end up being in the race next time around.
All right, we're going to take a break. Stay with us. We have more to come. We'll be back. Steve Potter, Loren Watt is alongside, and I've been here so long I need a shave, I think, and a shower, probably. It's been a really long night, but the exciting part is, believe it or not, all the numbers are in.
It's 100%.
David?
All right, so yeah, final numbers show that things have pretty much held as we expected. As they were trending, 54% Slay to 44% Reed. Indeed, Sharon Tyus held on 47% to beat Charles Troop, 34%. And in the 6th ward, Christine and Gracia indeed beat the other two with 50% of the vote.
And if people want more information about this, want to see for themselves, they can go to the Board of Election website. And what's the best way to do that?
www.stlelections.com.
Well, I know we want to thank everyone that's worked on this tonight. There are a lot of people behind the cameras and behind the scenes here that you don't see.
Yes, our production staff has done a wonderful job. We've really worked very hard at this for 2 days. I would like to thank our producers, Joan Drogi. If I got your name wrong there, Joan, you did a great job. You and Cara, for Donna Brooks, Andre Holman. What's the new guy's name?
I don't know.
I can't even think of it.
Jay Hollinger.
Jay Hollinger. Yes, we'd like to thank everybody and all the staff and people that work here. Thank you very much. It's been a long night. We've had a great time.
And we've had some great guests too, including the people that are on set with us right now. David Hunn from the Post-Dispatch, Alfreda Brown from the League of Women Voters. And you have a voter's guide coming out? What?
We have an April voter's guide coming out, and it'll be on our website, www.lvstl.org.
And David Kimball, political science professor at UMSL. You've been here a long time with us, and we appreciate that.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Congratulations to all the candidates, both those that won and those that didn't, for trying as hard as they could and believing in what they believe, right? So it's been a great night. Thanks for joining us at STL TV, and keep watching.